Hello, I'm Dr. Sam Hancock of the Emerald Planet and EmeraldPlanet TV. We come to you on a week-to-week basis from Washington, D.C. in the United States as we look around the globe in 144 different nations, looking for those 1,000 best practices, the technology, services, and products that are making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And as we have a planet of 9 billion people by 2038 and possibly 12 to 13 billion by the end of this century, how are we going to be able to take care of all these people on planet Earth? And that's what Emerald Planet's all about. We come to you looking at the solutions, the best practices from around the globe as we create the Emerald Planet. Hello, welcome to the Emerald Planet. We're making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And seeing the long-term impacts of climate change. We're glad to have you. Thank you for being with us. We're looking at the topic of firefighters and how these wildfires actually are bringing destruction and making great negative impacts on societies around the globe. We're talking specifically about the country of Portugal, but this really is lessons learned and best practices for around the globe. We have Dr. João Mira. He is Technology Innovation Manager of Thales, Portugal. And João, welcome to the Emerald Planet TV.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be participating in these initiatives.
Looking at Thales, Portugal, tell us just quickly, what is it about and why is it so important as far as wildfires are concerned?
Thales is a company that deals with critical environments. Critical environments are, for example, institutions, governments, but our natural resources are also critical environments. So it's one of our concerns, providing technology that deals with those critical environments, and forests are part of them.
Wonderful. Looking at fire and human evolution, this is something that we all take for granted, we know about, but in the earliest days, this is something that was a huge revelation and innovation as far as humankind. Why has fire been so important in the evolution of not only humans, but the entire planet itself?
Yeah, fire helped our ancestors to have better feeding. It helped them to prepare the natural conditions to have a better life as much as possible, and it enabled them to move around. And when moving around, they also used fire to improve the local conditions where they stayed, to stay there and to have a better life, warmth, food.
Now, looking at wildfires and by nature, we know that wildfires really are caused and they are acts of nature. What is this impact on the environment and Mother Earth?
Well, fires always happened through the ages, and they've created natural wildfires, and it may happen from different conditions, striking from above. The sun may reflect on water. Or drops of water, and may act as lenses. What happened with the presence of humans is that their presence and using the tools that we just learned increase the chances of fires to propagate.
Now, looking at human impacts as far as the world is concerned, what we're looking at here, we definitely understand this is human beings being very bad to nature.
Yeah, sometimes humans are careless. Maybe they don't want to start a fire, but it's likely that they create conditions for those fires to trigger.
Now, monitoring and acting, this is something that you've learned just like in responding first responders as far as an accident or a crime scene or whatever. There's a certain period of time that we need to be able to monitor and act as far as suppressing and eliminating the total destruction by wildfires. How has that happened, and why is it so important that we be as fast as possible to respond to any kind of spark that's being set off in nature?
Yeah, even better than responding is not having to respond, is to detect conditions before they trigger something, and technology helps on that. At the early ages, people just looked at the forest. Now we have conditions to look from above. For example, satellites help to look from far and cover big regions. Cameras can look at the forests for cover long assets. Software tools can simulate what happens if a fire triggers. Forests are huge in size, and in most of the cases, there is no one there, or there are limited conditions to monitor what is happening. So technology may help, surely helps, to either detect or help to conduct firefighting and strong fires.
Now, the fire-related events and technologies, we saw some examples of that in the last slide, but technology really is critical in this very urbanizing world where 80% of the people live in built environments. And in many cases, we're so far away from the incidents of the wildfires. How does technology allow humans to bridge our eyes and our actions and reactions into the natural world?
That's exactly what technology does. It increases our capacities to where we cannot reach easily. That's what it does. It can see Earth from above. It can extend our eye coverage to long ranges. For example, long range cameras can see what we can't. But it doesn't cover everything. There are conditions that technology is not able to cover. That's where we come in.
Mm-hmm. Now, looking at the human factor and detecting and being able to deal with wildfires, why is it so important that we always have all of our senses at work to detect wildfires if we actually are out in nature? And how do we get that information back into people who really can react? First responders for nature, just like first responders for humankind.
Yeah, humans are everywhere, or almost everywhere, even in the wild, as you can see from this picture. So if this lady is looking at, let's imagine, a very small piece of smoke, it might be enough to warn authorities that something might be wrong. So we are capable of also detecting things that technology can't. It's impossible to have technology everywhere. And sometimes it's impossible for technology to detect very small things, but we can. And as we are everywhere and technology can't, we may help to detect things that technology can't.
Right. Very good. Now, having citizens involved as far as solutions, not just part of the problems, how do we emphasize that we as humans are solutions and not just part of the problem?
As we can use fire for good, as we did in the past, we can use it for bad. But if we learn that using it for the wrong reasons, if people understand that they shouldn't, maybe they will not do what they shouldn't, that may trigger fires. Just being careful when they are in the wild, especially in the dry season, not leaving pieces of burnt paper or cigarettes cleaning the forest, not leaving pieces of dirt that are that can burn. Just being careful. It's a first good step.
Yeah, and looking at this photograph, this is
As you can
really
see, some
nicely
people
done
just have
because you're
as the
looking
choice.
at the solution as well as people taking action to glean the forest, but also to emphasize do not leave any trash or propellants in the forest.
Exactly. Cleaning the forest, it's one way. The other way is not even getting it dirty. So humans have a huge role on preventing fires from coming up, and eventually on detecting them.
Now, looking at this detection, so it's important that we have our sense of awareness, situational awareness, it's called, when we're out in nature. And so not only are we enjoying nature and becoming part of nature, but at the same time, we're helping to protect it. So, how do we merge these three things together within the same human being?
Well, we have, when we are out in the wild, we may just be looking for nice things, birds, forest, vegetation, nature, but we may also see things that are not necessarily good. So we may behave as an early detection device. And if we pass this information at early stages, we may prevent fires. So it's as simple as that. We are a sensor, and a good one.
Using their own senses, and this is going to be our last
Yes.
slide. Why is it so important that we use all of our five senses? Actually, some people say more, but five senses to abate forest
Yes.
fires, and we have to be quick. We're out of time.
Yeah. We have something that most machines don't. We have the senses, and with those senses, we can smell fire. Just talking about fires, we can smell fires even if they are far. We can see conditions for the fire or fire themselves. We can hear conditions or fire or what fire produces, and we have brains, and brains link these senses to our past knowledge, so we can also understand those conditions may lead to critical or out of control situations. That's something that machines for the moment can't do, at least the way we do.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. João Mira of Thales, Portugal, as we look around the globe to create the Emerald Planet.